Welcoming the King of Jordan to the White House, the president firmly condemned the chemical weapons attack in Syria, placing the blame squarely on the Syrian government.
It is a terrible affront to humanity, I can tell you, terrible.
And later at a joint press conference in the Rose Garden, he suggested there should be retaliation.
These heinous actions by the Assad regime cannot be tolerated.
In the past, again and again, Donald Trump said the U.S. should not get involved, tweeting, "Syria is not our problem," when President Obama proposed protecting civilians. And after Assad's massive chemical weapons attack in 2013, he tweeted, "Do not attack Syria, fix USA," adding, "If you do, many bad things will happen, and from that fight, the U.S. gets nothing." But now the president says these horrific images have changed his views on the Assad regime. Innocent civilians suffering from this week's attack. More than 80 dead. Here a father clutches his twin 9-month-old babies, both of them killed. Today at the White House, talk of a changed Syria policy.
Well, I do change, and I am flexible, and I'm proud of that flexibility. And I will tell you that attack on children yesterday had a big impact on me. Big impact. And it's very, very possible, and I will tell you it's already happened, that my attitude toward Syria and Assad has changed very much.
Trump blames President Obama for the humanitarian crisis, but acknowledges it's now his challenge to solve.
I now have responsibility, and I will have that responsibility and carry it very proudly. I will tell you that. It is now my responsibility.
Can I just quickly ask you if the chemical attack crosses a red line for you?
It crossed a lot of lines for me. When you kill innocent children, innocent babies, little babies, with a chemical gas that is so lethal, people were shocked to hear what gas it was. That crosses many, many lines, beyond the red line, many, many lines.
But he gave no indication of what he may do.
Well, one of the things I think you've noticed about me is militarily, I don't like to say where I'm going and what I'm doing. I'm not saying I'm doing anything one way or the other, but I'm certainly not going to be telling you.
Today, King Abdullah made it clear the world is looking to President Trump.
I believe under your leadership, we will be able to unravel this very complicated situation.
And the president, while again blaming his predecessor, is promising to take action.
The world is a mess. I inherited a mess. We're going to fix it. We're going to fix it.
And John Carl with us tonight live at the White House. And John, the president made it clear he won't say what he's going to do. But do we have any kind of timeline for possible action here?
White House officials say this is very high on the agenda. In fact, the president himself chaired a meeting of his National Security Council today here at the White House on the chemical weapons attack. But, David, no timeline yet for a response.
All right, John Carl leading us off. John, thank you. We just heard President Trump saying their Syria crossed not only a red line, but several lines. We also saw UN Ambassador Nikki Haley today holding up pictures saying if the UN doesn't act, the U.S. may have to.
How many more children have to die before Russia cares? The United States sees yesterday's attack as a disgrace at the highest level, an assurance that humanity means nothing to the Syrian government. When the United Nations consistently fails in its duty to act collectively, there are times in the life of states that we are compelled to take our own action.
So I want to bring in our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, with us tonight. You heard, Martha, the president there saying his attitude toward Syria has changed. And we just heard Ambassador Haley saying at times we are, quote, compelled to take our own action. For Americans at home tonight wondering what is going to happen, what next?
Well, I think what we have to look at, David, is what is the goal here? Do they want to prevent further attacks? Do they just want to punish? Or do they want to get rid of Bashaar Al Assad? We don't know. In 2013, there were an array of airstrikes possible at that time when President Obama said they crossed the red line. They didn't use them. They still have that intelligence. But most of those chemical weapons, the stockpiles are gone. So the chemical weapons used here were hidden. This is much more difficult.
And as we heard, they met with the national security team today. Martha, thank you.